SNEAKO, did you watch the interview?
Yeah, I mean, you sent it to me.
So you saw the clips?
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty much the interview, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, at first I was really upset because I'm somebody who hates Netanyahu and I know what he's doing and it's a genocide. I think he's worse than Adolf Hitler. I mean, at least, the differences or a comparison. Netanyahu's starving people in Palestine right now. And I thought that you guys knew, but I could hear based on we've been talking about the Steiny and I've seen the back and forth that you guys had with other people. I don't think you guys know too much about this conflict. And when I was talking to you, Steiny, privately, you were saying like, oh, I don't want to hear about conspiracy theories. And when I mentioned, Epstein's connection to Israel, but a lot of what they were saying was a conspiracy theory. You guys know that has been revealed over the past 5-6 years as being true.
What I was saying, SNEAKO, is going from having Netanyahu on the pod to what we talked about earlier. We jumped through hurdles to get to what we were talking about. So that was the only thing, is I want to stay more on topic than go into rabbit hole conspiracies.
Yeah. So when I first saw that, when I first saw it was leaked, I was thinking, okay, you guys are close with the Trump administration. We know the relationship you guys have. We know how Trump is basically owned by Netanyahu, whether or not you like to believe that. You guys have seen the picture of Trump pulling out Netanyahu's chair while he's sitting down, right? Mm-hmm. Every other world leader, Trump does the handshake and brings him in. Netanyahu, he just like, come sit right here, come sit there. He's the only person that Trump seems afraid of, right? And you guys are Trump supporters. You know the slogan, America First, correct? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How can we put America first but send $4 billion to Israel every year?
So, wait, what about the point that I think that a lot of people make this, and I'm not saying this, but I feel like a lot of people want to say that Israel's America's strongest ally. That's what I've heard.
Right. What do we get from Israel as our greatest ally?
No, but I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that when you talk about him and Trump having that different relationship, I think it's the fact that they probably talk the most. Who knows their relationship? But I feel like that's not that important, right?
Oh yeah, well, I'm asking you guys as Trump supporters. You guys want to put America first. You don't want to fund Ukraine, right? We don't.
I'm gonna actually agree with you. And I actually said to Netanyahu's face, I was like, "Yo, you're making it harder and harder for Americans to want to support Israel. Like it's like almost non-existent at this point. It feels from a social media perspective or just from an American perspective. It's like you go to the average American, and you think they're gonna be free Palestine. So I agree with you that I don't think that Netanyahu or Trump is making it any easier for an American to want to support Israel.
Trump has failed in a lot of ways. I know you guys are very, pro-Trump for a lot of years, but he said no more wars, and then he ended up bombing Iran. And he didn't bomb Iran for America. We have no involvement in this conflict. He bombed them for Israel. Because if you notice in your podcast, Netanyahu, he always says, you notice this, Kyle, whenever he mentions Israel, the United States, he says we. He says we, like this is our
war. I noticed that he was very trying to obviously, go after Americans and speak to Americans. Obviously, that's why he came on.
Well, he was trying to align Israel and America the entire
included
time.
As one.
Yeah,
that's the double speak they've been doing for a long time. And you guys are releasing the podcast at the worst time ever because there's the biggest mass awakening to this problem ever now, and you dropping it at the height of that awakening, which is, it's strategic from him because he wants to get some support, but I don't think it's going to reflect well upon him. Yeah, about putting America first. Do you think that we should spend, as American citizens, you guys have a big American following, you are a representation of young American culture. Should we be giving our tax dollars to Ukraine?
I don't think so.
So why should we be doing the same thing for Israel? Like you said, they're our greatest ally. I don't even know if you believe that. What do we get? What do we get from our greatest ally?
It's a good point. I mean, again, I'm not super educated on it all, but I mean, yeah, it's a good point.
We don't get anything from that. The truth is, they'll say that's the answer. They'll reply with military aid. But the military aid is to fight their wars. I noticed, and I'm glad you guys said this in the podcast. I think, Kyle, you said specifically we have PTSD and trauma from going into Iran, going into Iraq. Yeah. We fought all these wars. And do you know remember the lie of the weapons of mass destruction? Mm-hmm. Remember when they said that? You know who said that in front of Congress? That was Benjamin Netanyahu. He told our government, Iraq has weapons of mass destruction. They have chemical weapons. We need to go there and stop them. We were in that war for over 10 years. We found out they had no weapons of mass destruction. They need American base in the Middle East, right? Because Israel's so hated. There's a small little nation in the Middle East surrounded by Arab countries and other people that don't want them there because they have nukes, but nobody else can have nukes. We'll say we have to invade Iran because they can't have nukes. Israel has a nuclear bomb, and all the surrounding countries, they're not okay with that. So they need to have some support. They drag us time and time again into the Middle East to go and fight their wars for them with the lie that we're their greatest ally while we receive no benefits from them at all.
I think there have been some benefits. I'm not sure, but there
Name
has
one.
to be.
There's none.
SNEAKO, you got to know. Well, let me check.
There are none. The response is always is always military, but we don't
Yeah.
need them.
I mean, yeah.
Our country, we're surrounded on both sides. We have oceans. We have the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, Canada.
I mean,
top,
would
sorry,
you
Kyle,
say that? Yeah.
we could
I think,
destroy
I think,
Canada
I think,
if we
Sneako,
wanted
I think
to.
that there's some sense of like they have similar ideology, they have similar beliefs that America does. And I think that that's why they consider Israel as not maybe our strongest ally, but our most comparative.
No, they don't. See, and this is where.
In what sense? In where they are? In where they are? In the Middle East? And where they are?
I'll
Because
explain.
they do believe in like.
I'll explain.
And I'm not trying to get too.
Democracy. They believe
Yes,
in-
exactly.
I know
There's
you're wrong.
democracy
They
there.
believe in
They
democracy,
believe in all
and you're
this.
saying is, and the Arab countries, they're going to say like they oppress women and you know the hijab.
I wasn't
going
going to say that, but I was going to say
you-
that they do have a democracy in Israel. So I think that that's maybe why there is that.
But this is the secret that they have. Israelis hate Jesus Christ. They spit on Christians. They're bombing churches and they're killing Christians as well.
I went to
But
Israel.
people of
I was-
Yeah. Wait, hold on. We're
I
going to
was-
interject there.
I was never spit on.
We also went to where Christ was born.
You guys were there. You guys went there to kiss the wall, and you were there as a.
That's not even
representative of
true.
America.
We went there and we saw the Christian quarters, we saw the Muslim quarters. We went to where was it? Christ was born, or what did we see there?
Yeah. I think we were hammered at the wall too.
Yeah. So we did
You
go
were
to where
hammered there?
Christ was born.
No, at the wall. I can't.
But I'm just Sneako. We're being 100% transparent. Like we saw just,
believe you,
they showed us
but-
everything. And yeah, go ahead.
So if the United States is a majority Christian country and it was founded as a majority Christian country, the difference is those surrounding countries that you're saying don't have democracy, they love Jesus, and the Israelis hate you. They believe that they rejected Jesus and they're waiting for their own Messiah. That's the main difference, is that we have more in common theologically with those countries than we do with Israel. If you ask any Israeli what they think of Jesus Christ, they will say that he's burning in feces and excrement in hell. They have rejected him.
Bro, that's Sneako.
That's not a conspiracy.
You said if you ask any Israeli,
Yeah, they
and
hate
what,
Jesus.
but what, and you're Muslim, right?
Yeah.
So if I ask any Muslim this question and they're gonna give me that response, like that's where I just like I feel like you're grouping
every Muslim's-
you're grouping everybody
a lot of
together, and I feel like that's where it makes it difficult.
I'm just telling you what's true. Muslims
But you're not.
believe
You're
that
saying if
Jesus-
you ask anybody this, then they're gonna give you that response. That's not a fair thing to say about any group of people out there. I'm gonna be honest, and I
you
agree
have
with a lot of
Israelis?
things that you said, but
I
that's
would
a
have asked
crazy.
it to Netanyahu. Those are the hard hitting questions that I would have asked to somebody like Netanyahu, right?
Yeah.
If you ask any Muslim this question, they will tell you that they love Jesus, that he's the Messiah, he's the prophet. If you ask Israelis, I can send you videos of the Israelis spitting on Christians as they walk through. That's the major difference.
I
And
think there's
that,
a lot
idea-
of there's a lot of good people in Israel too that don't agree with what's going on though. I know that for a
I
fact.
agree, and I'm one of those
I know that
people,
for a fact.
Sneako.
One thing I think too, Sneako, just being from the outside, I think and we said this to Nick too, is that I think Jews just get boxed in as a whole. You know, like obviously there's rich Jews that run Hollywood, but like our guy that runs our chat right now, he's in New York.
Me.
You too, but no, I'm saying our guy that runs our shit.
You say Jews in Hollywood.
I mean, everyone says that.
That's what Nick was saying. That's why he's.
That's
carried
what
that
Nick
on.
said, but I'm saying they box those Jews in with like normal Jews, like the guy that runs our shit. He's a guy from New York. He shares an apartment. He's lucky to pull
That's not fair.
he's lucky to pull a 7 at
Yes,
the bar.
that's the point.
Like, you know, but he gets
Yeah,
boxed
I'm
in
also-
and like he gets hate with all the other elitist Jews, which I don't think that's cool.
Right. I don't think it's fair to categorize like the rich Zionists and Netanyahu, these people, you know, Rabbi Shmuley with all of Jews, because most Jews that I know are good people. Like Aiden's my best. I'm part Jewish myself. Steiny and I were good friends. And I was talking to Steiny. He's like, man, the hatred is rising a lot. And yeah, Jews should not be responsible for this. I saw Myron talking about it earlier. People like Dave Smith, people like Norman Finkelstein. A lot of people have been speaking up about this properly. You know who one of the major American politicians are that did not want to send more money to Israel? Was Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders. Yeah,
Bernie
we're
Sanders
educated over here.
is a Brooklyn Jew, and he's the only one saying, hey, we should stop giving all our... Why is every politician owned by AIPAC? Right?
Yes.
Why does people are asking questions, why is an Israeli flag next to the American flag all the time? Why are they getting all their money from Israel?
By the
Why
way,
is
we
AIPAC
got
the biggest
if you're curious, we got 0 bag for this, obviously.
I thought you guys did, and you
We
guys
didn't
know.
get that. We didn't get the Sneako Rumble back. I promise you that. It was
Yeah,
nothing
buddy, I
near
don't
that.
have an interior designer.
Yeah.
Not just yet.
We don't have the couch in there. We're furnitureless over
you guys,
here.
you know, there's 20 people in that room that was CIA and Mossad, even if you weren't aware of that.
No, I'm not. I mean, it probably was. There was 20 people in suits.
But there was not even. There was a lot of women in there too.
I mean, that doesn't really mean that.
That doesn't mean shit. We don't know who was in there. SNEAKO, we will tell you there was 20 people in there. We don't know what the fuck their role was.
Dude, we were in the Blair House. That's where they like.
Wait, but
that's like a part of the White House where they anyone that foreign comes, and that's where they like stay and sleep.
SNEAKO, this is my
how crazy is that?
That makes it more difficult to conduct that interview. But what I will say is, I agree with you, and you're right that I don't agree with a lot of things Netanyahu's done at all. And I think he was way too aggressive. He's been too aggressive with continuing to bomb Arab countries. But I am telling you, like, one thing that I brought up to him was like, it's harder and harder as an American Jew even, to support you. Like, it's becoming nearly impossible with the backlash, with the way that America now feels about Israel. Like, it's becoming nearly impossible. So that was my biggest issue. That's why I don't really empathize with Netanyahu's, because I'm sitting here like, bro, I put America first. Yes, I understand the situation, but it's becoming difficult.
So do you put America first or Israel first?
America. I'm an American.
So then Netanyahu is trying to bring us into another world war. All right, and even though this seems like it's subtle right now, Trump bombing Iran was the first step of World War III potentially happening. Right, that is an act of war. They called it a 7-day war or something short. That was not supposed to happen. And best believe that Iran is looking to retaliate in some sort of way. And we're going to try to blame them again, but we struck them first. So this is not a good sign. And if anybody says they're America first, Netanyahu is the biggest enemy to that statement. Netanyahu is the one that's taking our tax dollars, is the one who's blackmailing our politicians, and is the one who's trying to drag us into another war. Every American should say that we should stay far away from this guy, that he should not have any influence. And when he says things like we need to separate that and draw a line between the two. And I'm very disappointed in Trump. As a former Trump supporter in 2016, seeing what he's doing, it makes me embarrassed. And
you were a supporter in 2020, were you not?
In 2024 was difficult in the beginning. Towards the end, I knew that it would be, how strategic it would be to remind people about what America first really was. The reason people like you guys and your fan base supported Trump in 2016 was because he was saying America first. Let's go back to that idea. Let's put our country first. We spent too much money and too much time in these other countries fighting wars. We have problems right here. We don't need to keep funding other places.
This has been the biggest negative that we've had. Nick Fuentes, Myron, everyone's talked about it. Us platforming Netanyahu in a sense where we're trying to interview a world leader. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I'll be real. I mean, I like you guys, but I think Netanyahu saw you as a useful tool. I thought that, his PR is the worst it's ever been. And I think the Trump administration was somewhat kind of pressuring you guys to do that. Am I wrong?
No, not at all.
Yeah, then you guys have nothing to gain from that. If you guys were doing it from like, okay, let me be neutral and ask.
We honestly, we did have nothing to gain.
But wait, SNEAKO,
we gained nothing.
SNEAKO, as a good friend of mine.
I don't think you should have done it from a business standpoint, because I know like you're, how good of a businessman you are. I think that was a major mistake.
For sure.
It's gonna.
SNEAKO, let me tell you this.
Let me ask you a great job today, and a lot of people don't know this, and they don't want people to wake up. There was a moment when Kyle was interviewing Andrew Tate, and Tate asked you the question, like, what's the one thing you can't criticize in America? And Kyle's like, the Dems? And it's like, no, you can't talk about the Jews. You can't speak about them.
I'm telling you, bro, I'm not super tapped in with that entire situation. I was super into the, the American politics, because I think it affects like, where I'm from too. And America obviously controls like the world. So I was super interested in that. But when it comes to the Israel, Palestine, and that whole territory and the history of that, I'm really not educated on that entire situation.
I do an interview with Eric Adams the next day, the New York Post, the day after Trump bombs Iran. So this is major news right here. Ayatollah, you see Trump on the front. Page 2 of the New York Post is the New York Post calling me an anti-Semite, and also putting at the top, it says Free Palestine. This is a vlog I made about Free Palestine, and they put that here. They call me an anti-Semitic, all this. They mention how, things I've said about Palestine and Israel. This to make it a headache for people like Eric Adams to have me on.
Yeah.
Right. This is the number one brand risk thing.
Yeah.
This is the control of the media, the control of these, of these major establishments, and everything that you need in order to have a career.
Yeah.
That's how they'll shut you out. Netanyahu controls these. People just don't like him because he's killing people. That's the difference.
No, we understand that. We appreciate you coming on.